Hello my friends and welcome to a new video. Today a comparison between the Thrustmaster T598 and the Fanatec GT DD Pro 5. The GT DD Pro came out in November 2021 and it was the first time that a direct drive went below the €1,000 marker for the PlayStation platform. Now we had to wait a little while. There was the Logitech G Pro that came out, but that one went above the €1,000 mark. And then finally in October 2024 there was Thrustmaster that released their T598, which went well below the €1,000 mark. The steering wheels of both packages, well, they are really designed to be cheap. I think there is a bit of a better quality in the Fanatec GT DD Pro wheel than there is with the T598. It has the complete rubber upholstery of the rim. It has a clear coat over the PlayStation buttons. It has a rev bar. It has a little display. It has a nice GT logo in the center. So quality-wise, I would go for the GT DD Pro wheel. However, the layout of the steering wheel, that is something that I would give to the T598. I think that the GT DD Pro wheel, it is a bit too cluttered with all the joysticks on it. It's just a bit too much for me, and that is what I like about the T598 steering wheel. It is kept really simple. Also, the steering wheel diameter, T598 30 cm and the GT DD Pro 28 cm. I would say that both are good starting wheels, of course, but it is something that I would really change rather quickly. When it comes to the pedals, I think both have a very decent pedal kit that they offer with their starter packages. And when it comes to the configuration of the pedals, I think Thrustmaster is a bit more advanced. You have the travel distance of the pedal that you can adjust. You have the spring that you can replace of the brake pedal. On the other hand, you have the GT DD Pro pedals, which have the little damper cone on the brake, which just gives a bit of a more progressive braking feeling. So I would say configuration wise, the T598 just scores a bit better. Then there is the pedal plate of the T598, which is really small. The CSLDD GT DD Pro pedals have a much larger pedal plate, so this allows for more configuration, more spacing of the pedals. And also when you add a third pedal, then it would be easier to do it with the GT DD Pro pedals than with the T598 pedals. So yeah, I think they are a bit neck on neck. I have to say that I had a much better time with the Fanatec pedals in Gran Turismo 7. So not on PC, no, but on GT7 I felt that they just felt a bit better. I could get used to them much better than I had with the T598 pedals. It has a lot to do with the configuration of the T598 pedal. I just couldn't get it right with the min and the max on the brake pedal. So yeah, so my preference would be a bit shared opinion. I would go ultimately for the CSLDD pedals. So when we look at the wheelbases, there is quite a big difference between both. The GT DD Pro completely made out of metal. You have the quick release shaft, which is also made out of metal. So a lot of metal. And at the other side, the T598, and here I have to correct myself because I said it was completely made out of plastic, but that's not true. It's front and back cover made out of plastic, and in the center there is like this aluminium housing. But it still looks more like a toy than the GT DD Pro. However, I have to say that the T598, it has the buttons, the extra buttons on the wheelbase and the little display for configuration, so that's quite nice to have. It makes it a bit more functional than the one of the GT DD Pro. When it comes to the connections of the wheelbase there, I have to say Fanatec more uniform. They all have the RJ11 connectors, the normal ones with the lip in the middle, and then you have like this a bit of everything on the T598s. There is a bit of a difference there too. when it comes to software, I think both companies did a really good job with their software. Thrustmaster kept it more simple, more for the majority of the users, while Fanatec also decided to have a simple mode where you have like 2 sliders that you can change, and a more advanced mode where you have like the entire settings that you can change for the setup of your car, which is more appealing to more advanced users. So that's really a good thing about the software. I do feel that the firmware updater is not as smooth as it can go. I really had issues with updating the firmware of my GT DD Pro and all the peripherals that come with it. So there a bit work that has to be done for it. But yeah, in general, I think no, keep it up. Both companies, for the software, you're doing pretty well. So driving sensation, I tested them in GT7 on the PlayStation platform and ACC on PC. And I have to say that when it comes to the quality of the force feedback, the basic force feedback, they both are very similar. I'm talking about the fluentness, so the cogging. I didn't feel that much more cogging in the GT DD Pro 5 in comparison with the T598. When it comes to the details that you feel in the road, also very, very similar, I found. When it comes to the curbs, also you feel them very well on both systems. You really feel in control. You feel what your car is doing with both these wheelbases. However, there are 2 big differences between both, and one of them is the overshooting capacity of the T598. You really feel, because it can double up that easily, you really feel that you have a much more powerful base than 5 Nm. So you have at the one side the 5 Nm standard of the Fanatec GT DD Pro, but the T598, it feels more like the 8 Nm GT DD Pro. So you really think that there is a big difference between both when it comes to the power, thanks to the overshooting. Another thing would be the implementation of the harmony. The harmony causes for the gear shift jolts that you feel, and that is something which just animates the driving experience, makes it more fun, and that is something that I miss with the more clinical GT DD Pro. Very clean force feedback that you get there, but I'm not all about this clean force feedback. I want to feel a bit of animo with it as well, especially on parts where there is not that much force feedback. In GT7, it's not known for very intense force feedback, so every piece of extra force feedback that you can get, like coming from harmony, is really very, very, very good. You don't have that with the GT DD Pro, and that is really a big difference for driving sensation also. When the GT DD Pro came out, well, there was quite a lot of issues with the wheelbase disconnecting, and this was caused by a clamp which was placed on the drive shaft. I also had the issue myself with my GT DD Pro, and it could be fixed by just realigning the clamp and by tightening the clamp up a bit. For the rest, I saw also issues with the connectors on the motherboard for the pedals, that they get pushed out or inwards, but I think this is more related to the user itself than it is to any quality control or any quality issues of Fanatec. So the issues were worked out. They received a new quick release system on the GT DD Pro, so it doesn't seem to be an issue at this moment anymore. But if there are any issues, there is a big chance that you can just resolve it yourself by following some instruction on how to realign and fasten the clamp. For the T598, there are quite a lot of issues. I'm following some web pages, and also on the comments under the review that I did of the T598, it is visible. There are quite a lot of issues that come up with disconnecting of the wheelbase. It seems to be related to a few things. I have seen the issue resolved by the replacing of the power supply. I have seen it resolved by replacing the USB cable. Also an issue that came back in the comments, I saw it. If you use an USB extender for example, that can give an issue. If you plug it into an outlet with multiple sockets, it gives an issue. So well, there is quite a lot of issues. There are quite a lot of issues at this moment for the T598, and I'm really afraid that it is hardware related. I really want to see a V2 come out of this T598 where these issues will be resolved. So when we look at the pricing, the GT DD Pro, €700 for the complete package, steering wheel and pedals, and the Thrustmaster T598 comes in at €500, $499 to be precise. That's €200 difference, and yeah, that's quite a lot, because I think for me there are a bit magical borders. So you have 0 to 500, 500,000, and then above €1,000. So I'm glad that Thrustmaster stayed under the €500 for their direct drive package. For me, this is very important. Availability for the wheelbases, well, Fanatec, they started also now distributing via dealers, so not only via the Fanatec website anymore, they also will go via Amazon, I think. Thrustmaster, of course, they have their own website, they have the dealers that you can order from. So for both, the logistic part is really getting there. It will be more, both brands would be available in a lot of countries now. I have here two wheelbases, of one which is much superior to the other one when it comes to the driving sensation, in my opinion. The T598 of Thrustmaster is head and shoulders with the wheelbase above the Fanatec GT DD Pro. When it comes to the steering wheel, okay, the GT DD Pro has a bit of a better quality, but I would still replace it anyway with another steering wheel. Pedals are the same, but the price of the T598 is also €200 less. So yeah, it's really not hard to make a recommendation in that way. However, reliability issues make it a bit harder for me as a reviewer to tell people to buy this T598. Because yeah, what good is a wheelbase if it is in repairs for 3-4 months before you can use it? It's just a bit of a gamble at this moment to buy a T598 without not having any issues with it. So it's really hard for me. I wouldn't buy a GT DD Pro anymore at this moment. I think that it's with the current competition, it is overpriced, and well, it just doesn't offer the same features anymore like the competition does with the True Force of Logitech, with the harmony of Thrustmaster, with the increasing of the frequency of Moza. So they all make these changes, and Fanatec is left a bit behind. Yes, they have their Fanatec DD Plus, which offers what was it called again? Full Force. I call it Vaporware Full Force because it's not coming. They are easily blaming the platforms themselves, like the games themselves, Polyphony and whatever. But yeah, that doesn't, as a consumer, that's not my concern. I see that they offer True Force, but it doesn't come. For me, it's Vaporware. I think that from the moment that they went together with Corsair, that they lost a bit of their passion, of their drive, and that's a bit what the GT DD Pro has as a problem also. It's just not competitive anymore with the competition as far as pricing or features go. So thank you all for watching. I hope you had something from this video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. When you buy new hardware, Fanatec, I have an affiliate link, so click that one. It will give a free tip to the channel, and I will see you all next video. Bye bye.